Yes, I am weak. Right, what happened on Sunday? William, it's over to you.
Well, firstly, I didn't actually see anything happen. I wasn't there when it happened. I arrived late, so I only have other people's reports, and then just what I watched online from the various videos that were recording what happened. So my information is not going to be full, and you were there, right?
Yeah, I was there.
So that's going to probably help quite a lot. But I mean, in general, like I was saying to you earlier, what I saw was pretty disgusting, to be honest, man. Like, it's highly contemptible behaviour.
Okay.
So
from all involved, or from whom?
Well, there's various judgments you can make, right? But like I say, I don't know what went down. What I saw was some guy getting insulted and taking a swing at someone, and then the next thing I saw was the guy getting insulted again, and then getting kicked in.
Now, you are talking about. Colin's just jumped ship. Thank you, Colin. That's all right. You're talking about an event that happened 2 weeks ago.
Am I?
I think so. Are you talking about Ahmed Ali being insulted and told that his mum is whatever and then lashing out? Okay.
Was that not last week?
No.
Oh.
That was 2 weeks ago. And what happened last week was a reaction to that, apparently. For people that have tuned in from another planet, I know not everyone watches Speaker's Corner in London. 2 weeks ago,
good choice,
in a discussion in the park, and I hate to go down the identitarian politics route, but it has been split into a group called Gang, who are black identitarianists.
I actually don't know. I don't know who they are or what they stand for.
There's a group called Gang. It stands for Guiding a New Generation.
Okay.
And the fact that they are all about black identity and black empowerment, I would say, makes me regard them as black identitarianists, but they can correct me if I'm wrong on that. They're certainly all black. And the other side in this is the Muslims, because the individuals that were on the other side all happen to be Muslim. But why it has to be any reflection on what Muslim behaviour is or what black behaviour is, I have absolutely no idea. As far as I'm concerned, it's a bunch of individuals. They behaved the way they did. They were all men as well. No one seemed to mention that. They're all in the 20 to 30 age bracket. No one mentions that. But it has become about the Muslims versus the members of Gang. And long story short, in a discussion, Ahmed Ali was insulted when Jedi, a chap a lot bigger than him, said the only B word is your mum. And at that moment, Ahmed Ali lashed out without much thinking about it. It was a knee-jerk reaction, and he attempted to punch. And it didn't even look like he was trying to punch Jedi. It looked like he was trying to punch the guy next to him.
Yeah.
Was it perhaps someone who was laughing at him?
Who knows?
I don't know. But the guy lashed out. Now, on paper, that looks very bad. That looks very weak. I think if you lash out physically because someone has said something verbally to you, that is a sign of weakness.
So a counterpoint there. Yeah, a counterpoint potentially. Yeah. I mean, as I say, I wasn't there. I just looked at some videos, but he seemed to be trying to have a discussion with that guy Raj on camera. Yeah. And some people came around and started hectoring, you could say, and chanting something and not letting the guy communicate. This type of behaviour is done for what purpose? Is it done to
derail, to antagonise, to
belittle, to irritate, to harass, to generally pester somebody? What's the point in that? What's the purpose?
This is why I want to go
to assert dominance.
I want to go back to where I left off with Ahmed Ali, who I have said was weak for lashing out. However, we are only seeing a snapshot at that particular moment. For all I know, perhaps these guys have been winding him up for years. Maybe it's been on a daily bullying for ages and ages and ages, and he's finally snapped and said, you know what, I'm not going to let you get away with it anymore.
It could be that. But
if it is that
type of behaviour is certainly something that I have seen numerous times. This type of intimidation behaviour and harassment.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen it many times.
Okay.
It's you could say it's a sort of modus operandi for a certain type of mentality.
So how do you stand up to bullies? If you are physically smaller than Jedi, as Ahmed Ali is, how do you stand up to bullies who can just say whatever they want because they are bigger?
Well, it's a difficult one, man, because as I was saying to you previously, being like they don't know each other personally, right? This is all speaker's corner, like ridiculous on camera. I don't know what to say, man. It's the whole lot of it is pathetic. Okay. I just want to talk to people about interesting ideas.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are going there for the narcissism, man.
Yeah.
I would say, and various other things, and so.
The Islamists have been looking for a reason to move to Jedi for ages. He's just the latest in a long line. Team Dawah don't like competition for young black minds. Okay.
That's interesting. What's the alternative message? Because from what I see, it's intimidation and violence.
From whom?
From the guy who was throwing a tiny guy on the ground.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe that guy.
Yeah. Yes.
So what kind of alternative message is that?
Well, is it a back? Yeah, I don't know. It's all a backlash, and it all depends on when you start the clock. As I say, if you just look at him lashing out because he's been told to, my gut reaction was, oh, what a fool. He's played right into their hands. He's been weak, not only weak physically by throwing a terrible punch, but I can't criticise him for that. But also by giving in. But if it has been eating him up inside and he feels that he's been bullied and his mind's been cussed out, then fair enough. Maybe.
Here's another thing. I mean, I don't know if you've lived in other countries and cultures, but you definitely experienced it.
I've spent time, yeah.
And I have, and I know very much so that in certain parts of the world, maybe majority parts of the world, certain types of topics are off limits, and certain types of insults are designed. If you don't respond to them, that's a mistake on your part. I've been in those places and I've seen it happen.
Okay.
You understand what I'm trying to say? Like certain places in North Africa, if you do certain things, say certain things, they're going to try and kill you. Okay. And maybe that's the mentality that this guy has.
Is it the same? Your mum? Is that the example? Like comments about family? That sort of thing?
Right.
Okay. Is there anything else? Or
imagine like insults to religious belief or things like this, things people hold to be of high value.
Okay.
And like maybe I could turn it around and say it's a weakness on our part that we don't stand for values.
We don't. Yeah, we should.
I could say that.
All I'll say is, if I had an enemy and I was looking to defeat them, and I wanted to see what their weaknesses were, and I saw that they reacted emotionally every time I mentioned a certain topic, I'd press that button.
But what if the consequences of that are fatal? What if you misjudge the person's ability to take something to a new level? Because something I discovered is that it's not really about the size or anything like that or the motivation. It's how much somebody's willing to do. Because you don't know actually how far things could go in the background. You don't know who knows who knows who.
Yeah.
Again?
Yeah, but if I want to get you sent to jail for attempted murder, I have to make you attempt to murder me. Who wants to tread on eggshells at Speaker's Corner? You need to explain that last Sunday to him the reaction is almost more interesting than the provocation. Okay, well, chicken in the egg. But who wants to tread on eggshells? So are we going to throw freedom of speech away because you can't say anything because people will flip out? I mean, I don't think saying insults about someone's mum, I don't think that is freedom of speech.
I'm not saying anything should change.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe you can say that if you want. I'm just talking about it.
Say what you want, but live with the consequences and accept the reality.
Well, I mean, you can look at it many, many ways. Is that an act like that, I'd say is an act of supreme cowardice. Right? Yeah. Because you're trying to make somebody react to something in a way that's going to put them in a potentially a criminal situation, and it's all on camera also. And what's the opposite of saving face? What, making you a public disgrace? Again, humiliation.
Yeah.
Like these are real things. Like these are real tools and weapons that people use in dominant struggles and hierarchies. Like this is what it's all about.
Okay.
And what I'm saying is like, maybe you could tell me what happened this week, but from what I saw, a guy react to some deliberate provocation and then get fucking bodied, man.
Yeah.
Like multiple guys attacking him, holding him back, crunching him, and then throwing him on the ground.
All right, if someone attacks you physically, let's go legally now. You have a legal right to use reasonable force to defend yourself. Now, how much force is reasonable? You tell me. A guy, and it was a gentleman who'd already punched someone else that day. It was his second physical attack, his second physical outburst. How much force are you allowed to use to subdue him? Now, the guy held him from behind. He was
held him from behind, so another guy could clock him. Is
that why he did that? Or did the other guy just happen to punch him while he was being held? I doubt they planned it. They didn't say, right, you hold him and I'll punch him. No. The guy had been punched, so he switched to self-defense mode and is now punching back, which he's entitled to do. Jedi, was it, who held him from behind?
I don't know.
Whoever it was who held him from behind. Dardash is saying, we don't have to respect one another, no matter what. The Muslims in there aren't representing us all. I hope people understand Islam isn't to be blamed for individual actions. Jedi said he didn't know the guy putting the punches in. Okay, so Jedi has restrained an individual. 1 second, Hassan Radwan saying, what struck me was how easily Muslims who give dawah in a polite way suddenly turned into an angry mob.
Well, where was the mob? Was that this week or I don't know?
Talking about this week.
Okay.
I'm going to have to be quicker with my comment reading. They disappear very quickly.
Yeah.
But look, one guy is restraining an individual, turned into a lynch mob. It escalated alarmingly quickly, and he threw Ahmed to the ground to prevent him from being beaten up further. Yes, the mob. Okay, so the guy restraining the guy. Nothing wrong with that. Fighting back when you've been punched, and the guy who the punch was aimed at was not the guy who gave the insult, which is strange.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
And Motahid and their minions. So I think in the melee that went on, Ahmed Ali deserved a slap. Didn't he? I don't know. But if we look at what happened from a legal standpoint, if you've been struck, you have the right to subdue that individual. And because Ahmed Ali is
that correct?
Yeah.
Are you sure it's not if there's a continuing threat? Like if somebody comes up and punches you and then walks away, where's the continuing threat?
Well, right, it's for a jury to decide, isn't it? When Tony Martin shot some burglars in the back as they were leaving his premises, I think he did go to jail, but it was up for debate. It's not like the police haven't seen the footage. Actually, no. One of the guys that punched Ahmed Ali was Maku and is not even banned, but should be. Maku was not even assaulted. Okay, so someone punched him who wasn't even assaulted. Fair enough.
I saw a couple of guys run in and
Jedi hasn't been nicked either of the others. Ahmed Ali has been banned. Hijab was a disgrace and a coward last weekend. We'll come to that in a minute.
Yeah.
Hijab always calling people out for fights. Okay, but yeah, we'll come to that. Hijab needs to be careful what he wishes for. Okay. And as Muhammad Hijab says, let's do it in a legal way. Although he said he was going to move away from calling people to fights. Jedi has a history of violence. Even outside the park, he punched Oz. Well, a jury would not be privy to that information. You have to look at things as what occurred that day, I think.
Right, but I mean, okay, I mean, you can look, I don't know if we'll get much, I don't know if we'll go far looking at the legal aspect.
Okay.
I'm not so interested in the legal aspect.
Yeah, I'm not a lawyer.
Like it's, self-defense, assault, okay. But what I can see is people going after a guy and provoking him to the point where he snaps, and then a couple of guys smashing him, throwing him on the ground, and then who knows what would have happened next. And then that was it. But I don't know, man. It's something in me doesn't feel good when I see somebody getting hectored and harassed and then reacts and then three guys jump him.
Yeah.
Especially if they're much, at least one of them is much bigger.
And they all didn't attack Uncle Omar, who made a mum insult to Ahmed, to which Ahmed flying punched him. Interesting. Tawheed, Hijab and their crew are cowards. William thinks he is king of Sparta. That's from Jordan Peterson. There were people following Jedi who in no way can becoming hysterical, attack beer, favour blood. Where was the police from all this? How can police not get there? Jordan Peterson's been in touch, man. I've been watching a lot of the footage from Speaker's Corner. There's a chap called William from the United Kingdom.
Terrible accent, man. Fucking hell. United Kingdom, Scotland, mate. Right?
Yeah. William is the king of Sparta. I can confirm. That's from Saneris. Thank you.
Ah, nice. Anyway, mate. So, this kind of nonsense happens. I mean, some sort of physical confrontation seems to happen each time. Yeah. But then again, you could look at it in a certain way of that. Some people express themselves in a certain way, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe, if you know what I'm trying to say, it might be that calm, logical discussion is not the forte of all people.
Yeah. Ahmed Ali punched Omar because his mum was insulted. Jello followed Ahmed Ali. Do that the whole day around the park, heckling him and provoking him, wanting to insult his mother. So Jedi was asking for it.
Ah, I see. Well, if that's accurate.
That's the thing. When you see a snapshot, whenever anything is presented in the media, there will always be selection, omission, and emphasis. Certain bits will be exaggerated, certain bits will be taken out. I shot 15 minutes of footage when I saw the mob heading out into the field. This is in last week,
right?
Not the Ahmed Ali incident. I shot 15 minutes until I thought it had died down and wasn't interesting anymore, and then I uploaded it without editing it. I put a little clip in the beginning of Jedi saying, "Oh, do you want to stab me?" I mean, I'm selecting something there. I'm trying not to be biased, and I was criticised for uploading the video. And people said, "Oh, I thought you upload interesting and deep conversation." Well,
you're going to get criticised no matter what you do.
Very true. So well said.
Most criticism is not worth listening to.
Well said. Yeah. We'll leave that there.
Get people that you trust and respect to honestly critique you. That's
there
the way
go.
to do it.
Oh, superb.
That's why I talk to Sanir, because he tells me when I'm talking shit.
Superb.
Which is never, right?
Absolutely brilliant. We're watching Lessons for Life with William. Sunday was messy. Hijab and Co should have just spoke to Jedi in a normal manner, but walking around like that in the park was disgraceful. Lots of tourists and families were enjoying themselves. And Saneris is saying, "You what, mate?" Fluent in English.
So what maybe we should involve. Tell me about this week.
Okay.
Because I didn't see it, so at least we can have a full discussion.
From what I saw as an eyewitness, and then piecing the information together later on, Mohammed Hijab had an argument with Jedi. Dadash is saying the only worry is showing one side of the problem when video halfway through. Well, as I said, there's always a snapshot. Whenever you start the footage, whenever you finish the footage, there will be something missing. Hassan Radwan says, no one wants to hear their mum insulted, but this is at Speaker's Corner. You will hear things that make you angry. If you can't handle it, don't go.
But
reacting violently is never acceptable.
A direct insult or a controversial opinion?
Yeah,
like it's a bit different.
Insult versus opinion. In my opinion, normally people are holding someone, they protect them and make sure they don't get hit. And I heard Akbar saying they all just wanted brownie points to look like they out-toughed Jedi. Okay, so confrontation. Mohammed Hijab going back on his word to not do this kind of thing anymore, decided to say, all right, you and me have a fight, let's have an MMA fight, which I don't have a...
But in what context did this happen? Because people have been referencing walking around the park, big group confrontation. So what's the background?
From that conversation, somehow it must have turned into, all right, well, let's go now. Let's go over there now.
Right.
Which is the implication that we're going over there now to fight. And everyone walked over, followed like the Pied Piper, myself included, with the camera.
Like a schoolyard.
To get the scoop of the century from the schoolyard. And they... it would have been. I just can't imagine they could have had a fair fight without people jumping in and escalating it.
Probably not.
And that's a shame, because it's not illegal to have a mutually agreed combat. I don't even think it's immoral. But what is immoral is to put other people in danger. So I guess it was unsafe. In the Romany traveller and Irish traveller culture, there is something called a settler, where people will have a stand-up, bare-knuckle boxing match under rules in a circle with people watching on, and no one jumps in. And when it's over, and it's settled with a handshake.
Right, yeah.
And as brutal as that looks, and maybe dangerous, it's much safer than an ongoing feud that carries on for months.
I would say so.
It ends with people attacking people from behind or whatever it is.
Right. Yeah. Doing various things. Yeah. Okay, so what happened then? Did nothing happen from it? Just a big.
Nothing happened from it, and I guess nothing could, because of all the people that were jumping in or might have jumped in. I didn't see any weapons being pulled. People mentioned weapons. I didn't see any myself. I don't know what percentage of people carry a weapon in London.
Yeah, right.
1 in 10, 1 in 5. I don't know.
Oh well.
Very sad. Very sad. So yeah, I wonder where this will go. But if you're that easily emotionally riled up, I do think it is a sign of weakness. And I come back to what I was saying about if I wanted to undermine an enemy, and I knew that they reacted emotionally every time something was mentioned, I'd go down that road. But I think that's what Conor McGregor was trying to do against Khabib. There were people with knives, people were shouting, they were going to soak him up. Exactly, I'm a traveller, that's from Darren Musso. Thank you for, glad to have you watching, Darren Musso. What do you think about the return of Abdul Hamid or Tawhid? I don't know enough about that. And I heard that was planned to get Jedi. All right. People are throwing wild accusations out. I don't know how true either or could be.
So let's take the example of you've said that I don't know this stuff, right? But you said that Muhammad Hijab has challenged people to fight numerous times. That's right. Has anything came of it?
No.
Has he had any?
No, I don't think so. But
that's a shame.
I mean, I've seen the guy competing in jiu-jitsu. There's no doubt he knows what he's doing when it comes to confrontation. Dardasha is saying it looked like back in the days when kids argue and every other kid shouts fight, fight, fight. Yeah, right. Shame. Yeah. Psalm, my brother, chapter 9. Stop this knife talk, so your Dalil. There are Freemason agents in the park. Or sit down. Okay.
Freemason agents.
Have you got any funny handshakes in the park?
No. What do they do, these agents?
Freemason agents in the park. I'd love to see that. Lessons for life. I'll chat to. Oh yes, see you on Sunday. Thank you, Darren. That'll be excellent. Yeah, someone from the traveller culture.
Yeah, right.
And the traveller culture is weaponised by people from outside that culture. And I've had it when I'm working on the door. Oh, you what, mate? All my mates are travellers. I'm going to bring them down here. One phone call and I'll have 20 travellers down here in 10 minutes. Okay.
It's the classic.
Because they are regarded as scary people.
Right.
And some guy pulled this lyric on me one night. Said, "Yeah, I'm going to call a bunch of travellers." I should have said, "Well, you know what? When your traveller mates get here, I'll get them to stand in a circle, and you and I can go in the middle." And that's from their culture. They'll probably respect it.
We'll have a fair one.
Yeah, because they respect fairness. I'm generalising, of course, but I do respect that in a culture. And I think
I've heard something from the past. I'm not going to be able to express it correctly, but back in the day when people used to have duels.
Yeah.
Do you think this is too loud, by the way?
Well, no music is ideal, but it's all right. The mic will be picking up. How are we doing for sound, people? Are you hearing us loud and clear over the Arabic house mix?
Yeah. Yalla Habibi.
Yeah. Go on, you were saying about Jules.
I'm saying about Jules, because what I do remember is that what you could do is that you, in various cultures, what I know is of the UK, is that you could get somebody to fight on your behalf.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
You could nominate a champion, so to speak.
Okay.
Right? Because
I choose you.
You can have people that are not able or not skilled to fight.
Okay.
But their honour or etc. is offended or something is taken advantage of, and they can nominate somebody who would have an actual proper duel to fight for them. So this could be looked at as analogous to the situation that we have at hand.
Yeah.
Is of
you hit Ahmed Ali, but I'm going to fight.
No, they didn't just do that. Like fucking crushed him, man.
Yeah.
Like and then so Muhammad Ajab, if he wants to defend that guy's honour, a fair fight between him and Jedi. Yeah. That seems to me maybe that's a good move.
It comes back to the old saying, pick on someone your own size.
Well, they look like they're in the same weight category.
Same weight category, yeah, different height, same weight, possibly.
Because who wants to see a giant knock some small guy around?
You're right.
Like it's disgusting, man.
You're right. It doesn't look good. As I say, it's always a snapshot. Lesson for life. So, what are your thoughts on violence at the park? You sounded clear. Thank you. I don't like violence at the park. Violence for me should only ever be for sport or self-defense. Maybe honour, but if it is for honour, that would be sport. There is honour in fighting for sport. There was a chat I did with the MMA coach in Feltham the other night, and we're talking about different stances for different fighting styles, and that square-on stance that the Thai boxers have. Yeah. He's saying that's not actually the most ideal in terms of, this is his opinion, Thai boxers might disagree, it might not be the most ideal in terms of fighting or a striking situation, but the Muay Thai culture is we're going to stand and trade. Yeah. We're going to get into it, and we're going to see who's dropped. Yeah. We're going to who can take the pain, who can take the leg kicks. Yeah. Whereas in MMA or other sports where it is just about winning, like Floyd Mayweather hits and runs, and people call him boring. Yeah. But he's an undefeated millionaire. With his brain cells intact. That's why you've got to give him credit for that. He knows how to box. Yes, yeah. That's the game. Knows how to win boxing, it's not street fighting. Yeah, within the rules. What to say about that? Yeah. Good song in the background, loud and clear. Ken Williams sing. Edgware Road Boys. No, we're not. Zero tolerance. Well said. Thank you. Chapter 9. How long do you know Jedi? That's questions between themselves. So I am against violence unless it is for sport. I think a sporting match could be a fair way of settling a dispute, settling an honour, as the travelling community do. Or you could do it with anything. You could do it with a chess match. You could do it with a handshake. I don't know. As long as the two sides are mutually agreed, I suppose. What do you think?
I'm not sure about that, man. But also, I mean, the chances that something like this would be completely settled, I think, are small.
Well, that's because of the lack of honour. It's not in the mentality anymore. It's all right, you humiliated me, but I'm going to come back with a knife and stab you in the back. Because there's no. I don't see that as honourable.
For me, it depends on the initial. Depends on the initial action.
What would justify a knife in the back?
Or if you're 4 times the size as a guy.
Would that justify it?
You got no chance of winning. Otherwise.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we're taking this out of context. I'm not talking about today in the modern world in Speaker's Corner, what's going to happen. I'm saying that theoretically, when you've got a giant of a man, the smaller man cannot do anything, and so his destiny is to be fucked around. Yeah. No, it's not. He can use his mind.
Okay.
That's our whole history. Yeah. I mean, honour has its place, but generally between equals. Okay. You understand? Like people who are more or less equal in skill in some sort of arena. Yeah. Otherwise, it's not. I don't see the difference.
Hassan Radwan is saying, if someone insulted my mum, I would walk away. Does that mean I have no honour? No, of course not. The nonsense a fool speaks cannot harm my mother nor me. What do you think?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you shouldn't take. There's no reason to take what people you don't know are saying about you seriously. You don't know. They don't know you. You don't know them.
And I'm sure your mum wouldn't want you. Your mum wouldn't want you to get beaten up. That's for sure.
The situation becomes inflamed when it's in public and on camera in front of people that you're meant to represent, or people that you want to have a reputation with. That's how these things get blown out of proportion.
Jesper said, "Why don't you believe that was planned? Look at the video, and I know the sources who told me." Okay. Colin Alloy has switched sides again. Welcome back, Colin. Welcome back. Okay. Jordan has finished his stream. Oh, good. They can all jump on here now. Hassan Radwan is saying, I hate how the idea of honour is used to justify violence. Yeah, honour killings, honour stabbings, that sort of thing. That's why I think the only honour is in mutually agreed combat. Although, here's Scrub saying, why is everyone crying about what happened to Jedi? The guy is a bully. I'm not a fan of violence, but Jedi had that coming. Everyone was silent when Oz was attacked. So what if it was outside the park? Oz is still human. And Pleb Enforcement is saying, how good was Modine last night? We'll come to that. One of the best scenes in one of the best films ever, Back to the Future, is when the dad, George McFly, with a trembling fist, punches Biff, the bully. A lot of films use this plot of someone getting bullied the hell out of, bullied the hell out of, bullied the hell out of. So you're the whole time wishing that they would get revenge somehow, and then they finally do, and we all cheer. But that's just human desire, and human desire can get you killed, can't it?
Maybe some things are worth dying for.
Maybe. Is your mum being insulted worth dying for?
Oh, who knows? It's going to be your own. It's going to be your own determination. It's going to be your choice. Something that actually comes to mind when we're talking about this is something that for me was incredibly powerful, mate.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Arab Spring, right?
Yes.
Do you remember the guy who self-immolated?
Yes.
You heard about that?
Yeah.
You read that story, man?
Yeah.
I felt for that guy.
Yeah.
That takes supreme courage to do that. That's one of the most painful deaths you can do to yourself. What I heard is that the guy was a street vendor, an illegal street vendor, and he kept getting his stuff confiscated by the police, and then he got tackled and held down and slapped in the face and called all sorts of things. He could not live with that disrespect. He could not live with that disgrace. And I respect him for that, man. Wow, what a move.
Yes.
Self-immolation ain't no joke, man. That's a lot more stronger than walking away, especially.
Must have been sad.
Me.
Must have been sad for his family.
Depends. I mean, it depends on how you value life. If people are like life at all costs, I don't follow that. I don't follow that at all. Hold on to every scrap of life, no matter what you betray. Like I said, I'm listening to the Gulag Archipelago right now, and you've got people undergoing the most terrible tortures that you can imagine, and they didn't betray anybody. That's supreme courage. It's the most, seriously, read that book, man. It's the most terrifying thing I've ever read.
Hassan Radwan is saying, the Prophet said the strong man is not the good wrestler, but the one who controls his anger.
What about somebody who can kill without being emotional? You know what I mean? You can master your emotions and still be a murderer.
On what you said about the self-immolation, this week, Ivan Cooper passed away.
Not sure that is.
As a civil rights leader from the north of Ireland and the civil rights movement in the late 60s and 70s. People who took to the streets for equal rights. Bernadette Devlin, who was a leader of that movement, said sometimes to achieve or to gain all that you deserve, you may have to give up everything else. So just to get your human rights, someone might have to die, or you might have to go to jail. You might have to lose your job. You might have to lose everything. And it is all about what price you put on it. And if you've made, and as you say, Who knows what is worth what to who?
You define it yourself.
You define it yourself. As long as you've made a conscious decision and you haven't just reacted emotionally, because and this is what Hassan Radwan's saying about the man who can control his anger rather than just wrestling. If you give in to that inner beast that just wants you to lash out, you'll most likely make a stupid decision. But if you've made a calculated decision and said, you know what, I'm fed up with this, my people are not being treated well enough, I'm going to set myself on fire. And I know the consequences, and I'm ready to live with it or die with it. I can respect that. And whenever kids are getting angry in school, I work with young people, and they're kicking off and they're threatening to do this and they're threatening to do that, very often I'll get them calm and I'll say, look, think about what you want to do. Here are the consequences of X, Y, and Z. It could be detention, could be miss your exam, could be a phone call home, whatever it is.
Yeah.
If you're happy, I've told you what the consequences are. Whatever you do now, I will respect that decision.
Yeah.
Because you're making it yourself.
Yeah.
And very often, when you put it like that, they will then make at least a better decision than the angry one that they were about. And I mean it. If they still want to smash the window, knowing that they'll get a phone call home, knowing that they'll have to pay for it, knowing it will go on their record, you know what, fine. That was worth it to you to smash the window.
Right.
And I don't know what it's worth to them. So I can't judge. But when you put it in those terms, very often people will make a better decision or whatever that might be.
Okay. Here's a potential counterpoint.
Go on, then.
Who's to say that your initial reaction is not the true one? Who's to say that that's not the one?
I think
maybe not in your situation describing children, right? But I want to put it into context here.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to read the comments?
Don't want to interrupt you. So no, we're good. Carry on. I'll come back to that.
Right. So, for example, the example I gave to you about the guy in Tunisia.
Yeah.
I imagine he went and did that indirect emotional response to what happened to him. So you don't respect that because it wasn't planned and thought out beforehand? Because it was an emotional.
Do you think it was an emotional?
I mean, I don't know the background to it, but I would imagine so. It's not something you undertake lightly.
Okay. Well, I think just on average, emotional decisions will be more likely to be the wrong decision. You might make the right decision on the spot in a gut reaction by chance. Luckily, was it the right decision for him? Why didn't he go on hunger strike? That it might have brought, and that's a very honourable protest, the self-immolator in Tunisia. I know, but he could have gone on hunger strike somewhere.
But that would just be starving yourself, not in prison.
He could have chained himself to the railings.
Because it's extreme. Like it's probably the most extreme thing you can do without killing other people.
Yes, yeah. Respect the fact that he didn't kill other people. And that's a good decision.
What I'm saying is that, what about this? Is that if you feel that intense power and then you don't do something about it, what happens to you later? Maybe you realize it would have been a bad decision, but maybe actually you feel intense regret. Maybe you feel shame at your cowardice for not doing what you actually wanted to do. What if somebody's bullying you and fucking with you the whole time, or messing with people that you love, and you're too weak to do something about it in the moment? You try and console yourself and go, oh, I was the better man, I'm the better man. But yet that guilt will haunt you until you do something about it. And maybe it's temperamental. Maybe it depends on the person. But that's definitely how it is for me. If something goes down in the moment and you can't resolve it, it's very difficult for me to live with that. Luckily, I've not been in those situations for a very long time. But that's generally what I'm saying.
Political enforcement is saying cussing each other's mum is bad taste. Correct. I wouldn't do it. But if someone says abhorrent things about my mum, I feel sorry for them because it's absurd. Why swing? For what? Colin is saying, if you don't like this video, you will get 7 years bad luck. Thank you, Colin. 33X is saying you are justifying suicide bombing. No one is doing that, and we do not.
Bombing.
So the enforcement is saying the Muslims have also basically stated that if you cuss out any of their mums, you're cussing out all their mums somehow. Man like Julian from Jordan M, thank you. Man like William, you're welcome in here, Jordan. Sorry we missed your show over on ITV, but we were...
Which Jordan is this?
This is Jordan M, the English convert to Islam. Yes.
Oh, cool.
Lovely chap. Oh hell, it's the Jordan. He'll be back. Someone is Sukraj Singh is saying Sikhs need to save Speaker's Corner. Well, that would be good, wouldn't it? Pleb Enforcement is saying you can make a bad calculated emotional decision. You can.
Sure.
Religion does that. Dingo Jiu-Jitsu is saying good day. Welcome, Dingo. From down under, mate. Is it early in the morning or late at night? Colin Alawi is saying more women self-immolate than men in Muslim countries, but when a man does it, it counts more. Okay, good point. Loving the beard, digging the revert look. Yes.
What look?
Revert.
Oh, revert.
Revert. Back
I said reefer.
No, that look as well. Prodigal Son is saying, I like Speaker's Corner, but Muslims have made it bad. Darren Musa is saying, Jordan M. Dingo Jitsu. Julian is an undercover reaver for sure. Pick up Julian. Cover blown. Julian is a Jedi, but not that one. Jasper Core is saying, don't come to Speaker's Corner if you don't like what people are saying.
Yeah,
7:58 a.m. Speaker's Corner, this is from PK376. Speaker's Corner is full of pseudo-intellectuals that cannot accept differing views from their own. They refuse to evaluate the argument and even analyse their own views.
Is your mother a whore? Is that a legitimate opinion? Should we discuss it? Should we break it down?
Well,
bring up evidence for it? Doesn't seem like it, is it?
No.
Maybe it is. You know.
Yeah, and he's saying the religious types are particularly
intolerant of other beliefs.
Yeah.
Some are, some aren't.
Some are and some aren't, yeah. There are open-minded religious folk. I've met them both.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. This is it's a numbers game. The more people you get down there, the more Muslims you have down there, the likelihood is there'll be a few idiots among them. But that's just numbers, isn't it?
Right. Yeah.
The vast majority of Muslims down at Speaker's Corner are calm, polite, respectful, and peaceful people. But what gets on a video is the extreme stuff. Pleb Enforcement is saying you cannot argue that Speaker's Corner is massively misrepresented demographically to real London demographics. So they exercise power where they can. Is Speaker's Corner demographically representative of London?
No,
I don't think so. I think it's vastly more male than female for a start.
Well, that's an interesting one. Maybe we could discuss that in somewhat. But because I've asked a few people about this, like why does it seem to be that men talk about ideas in public a lot more than women? And I think I would say it's probably safe to say it's some sort of inbuilt temperamental difference, because women definitely talk.
Not in all cases, William.
Oh God, don't do this to me, bro. Right, no, but like for real, because women talk
Men
a lot.
taller than women. I shouldn't say that.
Come on, let me speak.
Go on, brother. Sorry.
Women talk a lot, man.
Yeah.
But they generally talk about, maybe we're obviously talking in general here, but the topics of conversation may be quite different from what men tend to talk about, and it might be wrong to say that women need to come there and need to speak their mind in that manner when maybe that's not what they're comfortable doing. You understand?
Yeah, you can't force people to come to Speaker's Corner if they don't want to.
But you see what I'm saying? I'm saying, like, for example, I speak to women that I'm familiar with, and some of them have strong opinions about things, but I think they're far less likely to go out individually to be on camera in a crowd of people and assert a controversial view. I think it's temperamentally averse for most women, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No,
as long as they still communicate their ideas to somebody. Because what's talked about in private still can spread. It doesn't need to all be on camera.
PK376. You two have great conversations with people and are enjoyable to watch. Thank you very much. Cheers. But just don't get us confused. I've been called William. It was a compliment.
It was all complimentary.
It was a big compliment.
I take the credit. I take the credit.
Yeah, that was me. There's two of me.
We haven't had a good discussion. Well, we haven't had a discussion in a while.
Not together.
So let's obviously we'll correct that.
Yes.
But I need to do more more reading. There's a lot of things going on, man. A lot of philosophy I need to get under my belt.
There's always more to do. I mean, London isn't 50% Muslim either. Okay. Chapter 9. I know this is off topic, but what are you on Turkey drilling for gas off the coast of the Turkish Republic of North Cyprus? I don't know enough about it, so I will have to get back to you on that, Chapter 9. That's the honest answer. I don't.
Yeah, no idea.
I mean, about it.
I know there was a war.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
I would trust Turkey as far as I'd throw them. I shouldn't. I don't mean that disrespectfully. I'm talking about the government and not the people. I have love for the Turkish people. Tree line. Women don't see the point of arguing about differences. We agree to disagree. I wonder, was that a woman who said that? Probably.
When they said we probably.
Yeah.
Agree to disagree.
Soneras. Agreement is needed for shared definitions and axioms on which to work towards a better future.
Stop trying to be smart, man.
Pleb Enforcement says, what does William think of the Conservative leadership race?
I'll tell you honestly, I don't follow politics.
Yeah.
Nah, not interested. It's a scam.
William was going to run for that role, but they didn't let him. We need more women Muslims there who speak their mind. Fight me in real life. That's from Senate. He will.
Man, we did that back in the day. Holland, remember, first time.
Wow, it's went down. Did it go the distance? Tundra M is saying, did you see Modine's skirmish with John Cena?
Skirmish?
Come back to that. Lessons for life. Any particular reason why haven't you converted to Islam thus far?
Not again.
Because religion is fake and God is imaginary. We'll leave that there.
Didn't pull any punches.
Pleb Enforcement. Not interested in politics, interested in economics. Jordan M. William is always calm and collected. Unless he's talking to Paul Williams.
Hey, let's just forget about that, eh? Well,
he's his kryptonite.
It's pretty interesting, the reaction to that, because I read some of the comments and they're all like, oh, he was a good guy until now, fuck him. I was like, oh, okay.
Wow.
Well, I just don't like when people talk shit to me, man, and mince words and play word games when they try to prove a point on camera for their own self-aggrandizement without even trying to address anything of relevant interest. That's all.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of great discussions with Muslim people. Look great.
Yeah, cool. No,
that definitely was not one of them.
Yeah. CK376 is saying Modine is a comedy genius. He certainly is. I've never seen him and Sacha Baron Cohen in the same room. Speculating.
Should have a freestyle comedy battle with him, bro.
I would like to.
Stand up. Yeah, that'd be nice.
That would be excellent. Can have a Sunday roast. All right, William, are there any points we really need to address? Jordan M, haha, good one. Oh, Pavlov, let's not forget.
Pavlov.
Yeah, Pavlov will be back. Pavlov is coming back soon. I'm getting him back on.
Good old Pavlov.
What do you both do for careers? Don't have to answer that if you don't want to, but...
talk shit on the internet.
Yeah. I know. I'm in education myself. Chapter 9 is saying Turkey said it would exercise its sovereign rights to drill off Cyprus in flagrant defiance of warnings from Western allies. Tensions over energy resources in the Eastern Mediterranean have risen.
You know the real fucked up thing? Turkey's in NATO.
Turkey is in NATO. They are an ally of the West, but they've got one foot in the West, one foot in the East, literally, and they're allied to the Muslim Brotherhood.
Yeah, man, for real.
So yeah, I'll get more clued up on that, and we can talk about geopolitics. Yes, I will check it out. Thank you for bringing that up. Good topic. Who would win in an arm wrestle, Jordan M? I think William wins that hands down.
With who?
I presume between us two. You're the more compact, powerful athlete. I'm not going to break my wrist to try and find out.
Yeah.
I've got a bad wrist, man. This wrist has never...
Giving me your weak points, mate.
Truly, yeah. Go for the wrist. Sweep the leg.
Yeah, I broke this one as well.
Oh dear.
Fuck
Probably Mohammed Hijab. Yeah, Jordan M hits the gym as well. He's a trained athlete.
Yeah.
He looks like a strong man. Yeah.
Maybe we should have another discussion then.
Okay. Should we do another topic?
Yeah.
If you just tuned in, we're wrapping up the Speaker's Corner debacle, Sunday violence, whatever it is. William's going to introduce a new topic. What do you want to talk about? What's on your mind? Can I have a little bit of tea?
Yeah, if there's any left, right. Jump on it.
What is on your mind?
Many things, man. Just need to think about it for a minute.
All right.
So I don't know. Maybe we save the deep spiritual stuff for another time. Yeah?
All right.
Because
no problem.
The atmosphere.
Well, yeah. Not really the atmosphere for it. But we'll let's ride out the hour at least.
Yeah. So. Okay, well maybe we'll see what the guys are saying on the chat if we bring up the topic of, let's say, feminism,
Feminism.
Yeah, let's do it.
Chapter 9 saying, when is your next fight? Something in September, definitely. I might try and get one in before that, but September, and then I'm travelling to Germany in October to fight the Germans.
Nice.
Tundra M, do either of you speak your respective country's dialect of Gaelic or Gaeilge?
Unfortunately not, man. Nope, I don't know any of it, man. Sorry about that.
I'll
say from the Highlands.
Unfortunately not myself either. I think my great-grandmother was the last person in my ancestry who spoke the Irish language. But I know a few words here and there. It's amazing what vocabulary you can pick up without really trying. Jordan M said, "Are men and women equal?" Should have said women and men. Should we do that one to round it off? All right. Are women and men, sisters and brothers, are we equal?
All right, cool. So obviously we've got to define the question a bit more first. So because it's loaded, but well, for me, if you're going to have any sort of society, if you've got human beings, they should be judged by the same legal system.
Okay.
I'm going to say that, which that might contravene some religious systems, but it seems to me that if people are going to be considered human and they're going to be considered equally human, they have to be judged by the same laws and held to the same standards, right? Which makes it tricky if you have different roles in society, which then brings on, do we need to have different roles in society, or do we have the pre-design to go into those roles? I think we definitely do. And how does that translate to the modern world is a real tricky part, man. Like Jordan Peterson has talked about, how should we manage the relationship between men and women in the workplace because of all this recent and past sexual harassment debacles, all of this.
Yeah.
Well, what's appropriate? Should we have uniforms? Should we eliminate the physical differences between the sexes? Should we be separated in the workplace? How much flirtation is appropriate? How many people meet their partners through the workplace? That's something to bring up. There's a whole load of wanting to have your cake and eat it in these discussions when I hear them. You get me, right?
Yeah. Something no one ever asks is, are adults and children equal? I would say yes, they are, but we treat them differently, right?
That's a strange one. I disagree.
Go on then.
Well, a child is not cognitively capable of, neither are many adults, but of being able to make its own decisions and understand the world and the consequences fully. So I should never be considered the same.
Why are they not equal then?
Well,
all human beings were equal.
But what do we mean by equal? What I'm saying is their development is clearly not finished.
Okay.
So
what about a disabled person who will never develop beyond the mental age of 7, but they're over 18?
Well, you could say if they commit some crime, should they be held to the same standards as somebody who's not cognitively impaired? No, they shouldn't, because they don't know what they're doing.
Does that mean that? Yeah. It's the loaded term of equal. Of equal worth doesn't mean that you're treated the same.
Right.
There's that image of equality versus equity, where the tall people down to the short people all standing behind a wall that is the same height.
Right.
Some can see, some can't see. That's equality, they're all standing. Equity is the shorter people standing on the step so they can see over. So We don't want equality. We want equity, I suppose, or fairness. Is that a better question?
That's a terrifying idea.
What, fairness?
I think so.
Why?
Because how far do you take this concept of fairness? Does it mean that everybody must have all the same things? Because that would be fair.
Only if they put in the same amount of effort to receive them.
The next problem, of course, sorry to be cliched, but how can effort be quantified?
Yeah,
because the unfortunate thing you could say, if it's unfortunate about reality, is we're not born the same with the same talents and abilities. That's just the way it is. Some are born in terrible situations, got no way out, and they die terrible deaths. This is our reality.
Yeah.
And should we exacerbate that? No. But should we try and bring everybody down to the lowest common denominator? No.
Well, what's the answer? Jordan M saying 2 great questions from Julian. Disabled people and children are human and yet are not equal. Yeah, I mean, you can't, by this term equal, you can't mean treat the same, because that wouldn't be fair. Giving everyone the same outcome is not fair.
So maybe we should say shouldn't be mistreated.
Shouldn't be mistreated.
That makes more sense, right? Because that's clear.
No one should be mistreated. If you can keep up with the double negative, no one should be mistreated. That's that. I think that, and the right treatment for different people will be different. Different choices to choose from. I don't know. Any more burning questions? I think someone did ask you a question, but I've forgotten it. We're going to run it up to the hour mark, and then we're going to sign off. Colin Alawi is saying they are equal in the sight of Allah. Pleb Enforcement is saying equally unquantifiable. PK376, fairness. Do you bring the super intelligent down to the thick to make the thick feel better? We do on this show. Chapter 9. The Equality Act 2010 is an act of Parliament. It's a joke. Okay, and Colin's saying when you take a shahada, God knows, Colin, thank you. Yeah, this is the thing. You're trying to legislate for these things. It's so difficult because, look, we can't even decide what equality means.
Well, I mean, the reason why this is a pertinent discussion, even though we're going to finish it soon, is the rise of the radical left, clearly, right? Which is evident in Europe and North America, and they're militant and they're pursuing their agenda.
Very easy for you to say that with him as a white male.
I know. I'm using my inbuilt privilege. It's a serious point, though. That's the thing. It ain't a joke. It's actually changing laws and developing society along a certain path. So we're paying the price for it right now. We've got quotas, for example. I don't remember which country, but it's demanding to have equal representation of women in every job and in the parliament. Why is this relevant?
The fire service.
Why is this relevant? Why does your sex determine your political ideas?
Yeah.
It surely doesn't.
Good point. Last question. Why did William come to the park for the first time?
Why?
Yeah.
I came to the park because of my mate Sanir is on this chat somewhere. His brother told me about it. I didn't know about it. I said, "Oh, let's go." And then I talked to some guy called Adhan Rashid or something, that guy, and he was talking absolute nonsense. And I told him he was talking nonsense, and that was it. More or less, mate.
That's fair. Right, we've hit the 1 hour mark. It's been a marathon. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe, share the channel with your friends, and we'll do it all again soon. We're here. We're gone. Peace. Nice one.